Imagine calling yourself an anti-fascist while being a passionate supporter of Israeli fascism. Ridiculous, right? Well, let us introduce you to a special kind of German anti-fascism that considers Israel to be today's beacon of anti-fascism. What doesn't make much sense elsewhere is actually a real thing in Germany, and they're called Antideutsche or anti-Germans. The Antideutsches' striking characteristic is their unconditional support for the State of Israel, adhering to the German government's definition of anti-Semitism, which labels any and all critique of Israel as anti-Semitic. The movement takes some of the most questionable leftist stances completely in line with German and US foreign policy in an attempt to deal with Germany's Holocaust guilt. From supporting Israel's wars of aggression to supporting the US invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq, the Antideutsche established a pseudo-leftist pro-Israeli, pro-US, Islamophobic, pro-war ideology. As their name implies, the Antideutsche see themselves as primarily opposed to German nationalism. The movement, originating from Marxist intellectual circles, started to take off in the late 80s and early 90s when the German East-West divide came to an end. Fearing the rise of a Fourth Reich, the Antideutsche aimed for a complete departure from Germanness, their slogan being "Never Again Germany." Apart from the lack of a rational theory, the fallacy of their anti-nationalism also meant a departure from real anti-capitalism and anti-imperialism. These pseudo-Marxists were exactly what the West needed to undermine the growing anti-imperialist communist movement at home. Back in the 50s, the CIA had already dedicated millions of dollars to covert operations, bringing together some of the most eminent Western thinkers and intellectuals in a bid to challenge Europe's communist movement from within. Today, the Antideutsche enjoy full support from the German government, with some of their most prominent mouthpieces being primarily state-funded. The Antideutsche financiers don't just include the German government, but also US think tanks such as the New York-based Ford Foundation. While the Antideutsche definitely saw a drop in popularity in recent decades, their funding has grown. Today, the Antideutsche still hold enormous influence among German leftist circles, with several prominent organizations, foundations, and newspapers. They hold high-ranking positions in academic and leftist circles, from universities all the way down to local community organizations, and relentlessly attack leftist groups, defaming them as anti-Semitic, undermining and weakening the German left. While solidarity with Palestine is growing worldwide, pseudo-leftist anti-fascists in Germany are busy doing the government's dirty work, echoing Zionist propaganda while claiming to stand for leftist ideals and a free world.